So he's going to be my clicker. So you can go ahead and advance it. Thank y'all. I'm going to move through this really quick. Just wanted to provide an update on what's happened in the mission work. I want to start with what my progress has been in the mission work in the last year since I updated you last. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Yep, for some reason we haven't been able to get it connected to mine. Go ahead and click it one more time, and it'll bring up everything. There you go. So, as you know, I'm at Freed Hardeman with the Master of Divinity, and so 87 credit hours are required for that degree, and I'm about halfway through. So, Lord willing, fall of 2027 is when I'll be graduating. So making progress there, that's required, of course, to be able to teach in the university. I'm currently the Director of Student Sponsorship, so I handle all the sponsors on the American side and connect them with the students, make sure that the students are reporting regularly to their sponsors. I'm also editing now the Philippines and Beyond newsletter that you receive each month. So that all goes through me, what gets put in there, what pictures, and that sort of thing. So I'm also the Assistant Director's Campaign Assistant, planning the campaigns. Right now we're currently planning the February lectureship. So that's a textual study on 1 Corinthians, Lord willing, in February. By 2028, Bill has indicated his plans to step from going on and planning all of the campaigns, and so by that time, Lord willing, will have my degree, and so I'll be planning and organizing all of the campaigns by that time. So, of course, faculty position, I was able to participate for the first time in the education of the students. I taught a short course in May on Jesus and the Gospels. You can go ahead and click the next slide. You've seen this in the newsletter. This is the multi-purpose building. We've been raising funds for that. As far as the funds for the building itself, $300,000 American dollars to build this facility, that has been raised. However, we have a donor who was on site at the groundbreaking ceremony, which you can see was September 27th. Which was a few days earlier than we had planned. October 1st was the goal. And a Filipino that saw they had it taped off, the dimensions of the building. They had, I believe, 1,100 and a province-wide fellowship, Churches of Christ at ACU. And so he said, this building is not going to be big enough. So he donated on the, I don't know if he did it on the spot. I don't know when the exchange of funds took place, but he committed on that day to donate what is the U.S. equivalent to about $25,000 to increase the dimensions of the building so it would hold more. It was projected to hold, depending, probably if you crammed it in, about 1,000. 800 comfortably will now comfortably, based off of the dimensions, host 1,000. And you'll see reasons why we need this facility. The reason that I mentioned we have now are raising probably about an additional 50 to 54,000 more is because of the increase in the dimensions. We've got to make sure there are AC units for that. There are chairs that can fill up that space and so forth. Okay, next. This is the spot that it'll occupy. Right across from the president's home. To the left of that spot is the main girls' home. And the building that you see just at the bottom there is the overflow for the girls, which is being used as an independent living spot for girls that progress into an opportunity to live independently. We also have a scholarship for those girls if they decide they want to stay on campus and live there and go to college. That scholarship is to allow them to do that. Next. What you see here is one of the things they're preparing for now. They have a youth camp in December. which is right around Christmas. And you can see this was actually in the last 3 years the smaller of the three groups, but still a large group of youth that comes on campus. They stay in tents, and we generally just cram these youth into the dining hall. And so we needed a bigger facility to host these types of events. Next. I want to get into a little bit about the students themselves. We are a university that trains young men to preach the gospel and to be missionaries. You know that. A lot of this presentation will be outlined just to let you know what a campaign is like. If you go, I would love for some of you to go. This will kind of tell you what a campaign is like, this presentation. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the students. The gentleman that's sitting to the left, the student, Arvin Pestalante, he is meeting with leaders of a church of Christ in the Philippines, I believe within the same province. The reason I wanted to show this picture is at the time Arvin was still a student. He's now graduated. So all of our students that graduated with a Bachelor of Theology degree when they left ACU were already hired. And so that's what you see. Our students are in high demand. It's to the point now where all of our third-year students who have just now entered their fourth year, they've already been hired as well. It's gotten to the point to where there is not, in the northern islands, ACU has really the best reputation, but there is a great need. So we have leaders and churches talking to our second-year students who now just entered their third year. So I just wanted you to know that ACU has an excellent reputation within the Philippines by comparison to some of the other. Go ahead to the next slide, please. Also, ACU is in high demand among churches of Christ, of course, in helping to plant churches. So listen, here's the deal. When we plant a church, doesn't matter where it's at, here in the States, Philippines, doesn't matter. That church is intended to be germinal. That's what the Lord expects. That church, not necessarily a set missionary, is responsible for duplicating themselves. And so that's what our men, our young men, our faculty are so well trained at. That's a full semester course in our curriculum, is how to plant a church. That's the expectation. When they go and they fulfill a ministry position, that's the expectation of where they're going, is then to become germinal. And folks, that's how you evangelize the world. It just is. It's not by taking a missionary and planting them in one spot and they stay there. You don't evangelize that. You might evangelize that area. But you do, as Paul and Barnabas did, you go to different areas where there is no church, you plant a church, that church is germinal and duplicates itself and evangelizes its community. Well, we're called on here by another Church of Christ, and we, in cooperation, went and helped them plant a new congregation. Next. What you also see is our third, this is Ramil and Christian, who during the summer, between their third and fourth years, go on an internship where they go to a different part of the Philippines and they work with a Church of Christ. You can see Junus is in the green shirt. That's the president of ACU. The other two gentlemen, I believe, are elders at the local congregation where Ramil and Christian went, served for 6 weeks. Next. And you also see in the middle, Litchimer and Kevin, they were the other team. They're responsible for preaching, doing all the things in the worship assembly, visiting with members, wayward members, evangelizing the community, whatever that church needs them to do. What you see on the right is you can see Litchimer in the distance, but he's working with the youth. That is huge with our students. It's huge. They're taught when they go into a local church, if it's their local church they work with while they're a student, or if it's the assignment that they accept when they're hired as they graduate, they target the youth. and teach and train the youth. And that's how we're going to sustain the church in the Philippines. It's how you sustain a church anywhere, is to target the youth. Not saying that other members are not worth training and investing in and that sort of thing. Of course it is. We want to evangelize everyone. But to bring stability, we need to teach the youth. Next. You can see Kevin to the left there, long dirt road. These guys walk long ways to evangelize a community. The place in the center is very remote. You can see to the right, the home there is not much of anything. So they'll go and they'll visit anywhere. It doesn't matter. Next slide. And then you can see to the left a very nice home, very nice community. Our guys they have the mentality that they should have. They show no partiality. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. They'll talk to you about the truth. In the very middle is a picture of Kevin reaching out to what we might call an entrepreneur. In the local barangay, which is like a town, he owns a snack shop. All right? You don't have a grocery store right down the road in the Philippines. Now, in some places, they have what might be the equivalent of that, but this is where, if you're in that community where you would go for a snack during the day, well, that's an entrepreneur. And so our guys know that they can reach out and target anyone. Next slide, please. Come on in. Good to see you this morning. Here you see Romil studying. What do you notice about the group that he's studying with? All women. All women. You're going to see that as a kind of a common theme in a lot of the groups. The majority of the folks that we study with initially are female. So there is a great need to teach the females. Next. This is a study that Kevin and Litchimer had with the two older people in the middle and their grandchildren. The entire family obeyed the gospel. Next. And then, of course, these are some of the immersions. I believe between the two teams in the 6 weeks, they baptized 18. Next. So I want to get to the actual lectureship and the campaigns that we go on. I just wanted to give you a little bit of taste of the students and what they're doing. What I'll do in future presentations, Lord willing, is present a little bit more detailed side of the students and the faculty and that sort of thing. Right now, I'm trying to get folks interested in going on a trip, and so I wanted to present it in this fashion. You see, it was a mental health and ministerial care lectureship. That was part 2. You may remember last year we had part 1. You can go ahead to the next slide. What we do when we go around, I emphasize this everywhere I go, and you need to know this, because there is a stigma sometimes with short-term mission trips that I can't affect much change in one visit. I'm just going on one trip. What difference can I make? It's a huge difference. It's huge, and it's impactful. Never, please, I beg you, never ever minimize the effect of one short-term mission trip. What we do when we go, the first thing we do is that first Sunday is we worship with the churches that have been planted by ACU. Now, this is the Mangaldan church. ACU did not plant this church. This was already in existence. This is Junius' home congregation. But this is an impressive church because it split years ago all the way down to where the majority of the membership went with the false teaching. And they had about 30 members. They have now built it back up over 100, and they have become germinal. Next slide. What you see is a house church that they planted in a local barangay. Now, what's impressive about Mangaldan is 3 weeks out of the month, after they worship at Mangaldan, they come here to this house church, and they worship there. And then they go and they door knock and evangelize their community 3 weeks out of the month. On a Sunday, they door knock and they evangelize the community. So we went there to worship. Next slide. This is the group. A lot of who you see are Mangaldan members that come there. Now, you might ask, why not just, if it's just 4 or 5 members, why not merge with Mangalden? Well, because what you don't see is underneath the tarp, there's a lady that's laying, she's bedridden. And so the people that are there with her take care of her. They can't come to Mangalden. Transportation's not that easy to just hop up and go across town. And so this is a legitimate congregation. They're not self-supporting, obviously. Next slide. So I had the opportunity to preach for them, and you can see it's not much, but it's okay. We are assured in Scripture that's not what defines the church, right? Next slide. So on Monday we start the lectureship. That's the dining hall. You can see it's going all the way back to the end. So it used to be that this lectureship was centered around the students and alumni. We've now opened that to the entirety of the church. And so this was the first year, check that. Last year was the first year we did that. And so we're building up that capacity and communicating to those locally within the church, especially within the province. Next slide. This is the team. We always mix it with Filipino speakers. This is their university. It's their lectureship. And so it's important that they hear from Filipino speakers, because Filipino speakers are going to do what? They're going to contextualize the message, right? It's not just that we go and we share the gospel. You have to contextualize the gospel. What you might teach someone across the street is not how you're going to teach them in the Philippines. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to get it. We're primarily a guilt, innocence culture. They're not. They're shame, honor, primarily. And so you've got to present the gospel differently. Okay, next slide. I had the opportunity to speak about pornography addiction. Now, let me tell you the difference and why it's important that you contextualize even a message like this. Because here in the United States, the average age user for this particular platform, and I don't remember what the platform was, but very popular, in the United States is like in the mid-30s, majority male. In the Philippines, the average age is 24. More females than male. It's interesting. So I gave them some statistics in that regard, and I think it was eye-opening for them. Next slide. I was also able to present a lesson about supporting family with special needs. Of course, my son is autistic. I think many of you know that. And so I could speak intelligent, at least from that perspective, and how the church can be supportive. Next slide. Neil Ritchie, who used to be at Piedmont Road, Dr. Neil Ritchie, who is now at Freed Hardeman, is a licensed mental health counselor. And so he was able to, he was the main one. I mean, he had the goods, right? He could share from a expert professional opinion, and he's sharing some information, kind of an illustration with one of our students, Litchimer. Next slide. What we decided to do is we tried to make this lectureship practical. So we did breakout sessions. After the lectures in the afternoon, we would do breakout section. And the goal there was to give them practical tools, things that they could use practically in their congregations and their lives so that they could be better with mental health. Next slide. You can see in that we were talking about pornography addiction. And so what was interesting is you open that up to discussion and it was crickets. I mean, you got nothing just about, but a few. Well, later I found out, talking to one of the faculty members in a later breakout session in which there was only like 4 or 5 of us, he told us it is not easy for us to share our struggles. Shame, honor. Think about it. You're associated with this church or this family, and you hold a certain position within that, and you share things that people don't know or your struggles, you could bring shame, not just on yourself, but the entirety of your family or the entire group. And so it's hard for them. So we had to be flexible, we had to adjust. Next slide. So instead of breakout sessions, we just went to open forums where they could ask some questions and not incriminate themselves in front of their brothers and sisters, and do the best we could. Next slide. We also got to spend some time. This is when we opened the president's home. We built that for Junice. It's for whoever would be president, but we built it because Junice had a long drive back and forth. I think last year I showed you it was in construction, but they're now in the home. They're loving it and enjoying it. It's a nice home. Next slide. It is also our foundation day where we bring alumni. Now, what we do is, in that particular visit, is we had alumni from every region of the Philippines. Anybody remember how many islands are in the Philippines? Ask this every year. Come on, it's just a year. I'm just kidding. How about 7,000 plus? 7,000 plus. So the Philippines is primarily separated into 3 regions: north, middle, and south. It's called something different, but we have alumni in every region. And they came and reported. So our footprint is in the entirety of the country, which, by the way, we also have alumni in Macau. Does anybody know where Macau is? Chinese property. You remember me talking to you the very first time I came here, the Philippines and beyond, Asian Christian University, we're going beyond the borders of the Philippines. We've gone beyond. You will see that in your next newsletter, a write-up about, we've got, I believe, 5 alumni in Macau. Folks, listen to me. We believe by faith the Lord will open the doors fully to China. We do. We believe it. And we're getting guys ready to go. So, next slide. We go to Manila, and I'm doing a lecture on social media there. You can see them raising their phones. I did that on purpose because I noticed as I had walked behind the group and someone else was lecturing, I noticed a lot of them just scrolling through their phones. So I asked them at the very beginning, I said, okay, this is about social media. I said, how many of you have phones? And everybody raised their hand. So I said, great, put them aside. So they would listen to the lecture. And so they didn't know that's what I was about to drop on them, but I dropped it. Next slide. Yeah, so we had the opportunity, we just do a condensed version, mental health and ministerial care. And so next slide. What we get, all of these, those are church leaders locally in Manila, churches in Manila, and they're interested in what you have to say. They're interested in your thoughts. Next slide. I want to show this because Sarah, that's sitting there with myself and Merv Prince, who goes to the Hoover Church in Alabama, I told Sarah when she was there, I said, thank you so much for coming. And she looked at me so genuinely, looked me square in the eye, and she said, no, thank you. Listen, they know, they understand the sacrifice that's being made when you go. They know the time away from family. They understand that it's a high cost. And she said, you give that up to come here to us, the other side of the world. That means so much to us, then it matters to us what you have to say. Immediate connection. And so y'all are a part of how she feels because you've sent me over there. And she looked me square in the eye and said that. Now that should make you feel hopefully warm and fuzzy inside. It should, because you've participated in why she feels that way. Next slide. We end the trip worshiping with a local congregation. Listen, you never would have found that spot. Never. It was in an alley to the right, up a flight of stairs, and I mean, you never would have found it. But again, it's long and narrow, but you can see we're scrunched in there. But man, what a joyful time. Next slide. All right. May is focused on the ladies. Ladies. Hint, hint. Next slide. This was a special trip because Casey got to go on that trip her first time out of the country, her first mission trip. Michelle Post is to the right. She attends Piedmont, and she was able to go with us as well. Next slide. As I mentioned, when we arrive, we worship with a local congregation. My first ever time to this little bitty congregation, Mabini, again in the middle of nowhere. That you can see that's their place. Next slide. Casey and Michelle taught Bible class, and this was the first congregation we had been to where we needed a translator. The gentleman translating is a student at ACU. That's his assigned congregation, and so who's he working with? He's working with the youth. Next slide. Keep going. All right, right there, I had the opportunity to teach Bible class and worship at the Mabini Church. Next slide, the gentleman to my right, our left, is Philip Brent Palacio. He was translating for us. Next slide. What do you notice about that group? Younger. What about the group standing? Primarily female. Yep, primarily female. So there is a need. That's why we go in May to help teach. Next slide. So on Monday we start to teach the teacher seminar. Next slide. This was the American team, Casey and Michelle in the center. Haley McGee to the left. She's out of Tennessee. It was her first time. Greta Perry and Karen Ward on the right. They're veterans of that trip. They've been on this particular trip, I think, 4 or 5 times. We needed, ideally, one more lady. Hint, hint. Next slide. You make immediate connections, ladies. This is Clarissa from the Mangaldan Church. And they're now all Facebook buddies, and they love each other. You make good, immediate connections. Next slide. This was Tuesday. This was Casey's day to speak. Next slide. This is not her thing. The Osmonds know this. You've never seen Casey up in front of anybody. So, but she went outside of her comfort zone. She taught a lesson on the Mountain of Transfiguration. So if you go, ladies, what you'll do is deliver a lesson, and in the afternoon you provide a practicum to that lesson. Next slide. And this is what, these are bookmarks that Casey made. She displayed. That was their practicum, something that they could take and teach young people. Next slide. This is the dining hall in the midst of the Teach the Teacher seminar. We more than doubled our highest attendance in previous years. Again, the need for a larger facility. You can see that they need room to spread out, and so that takes up the entirety of the dining hall. Next slide. The picture of Casey helping with the practicum. Next slide. You can see the Filipinas. They are very creative. That was one of the things our American team said. They were impressed. Next slide. You can see some of the bookmarks that they did. Next slide. Very impressive, very creative group in the Philippines. Next slide. You can see the group is very engaged, teaching VBS type songs, or at least a new song, something that they can teach their family, something that they can teach in the church. But look, they're engaged. You know, when you do something like that in America, generally speaking, not everybody stands up and participates like that. But you can see the lady sitting there, the older lady sitting, she's all in, isn't she? Next slide. You get a chance to share with them. What you find when you go over is that they want to honor you, and you have to allow that. Shame on our society now. You go over and you're thinking, I'm serving them, I want to do for them, but what you find is you're being honored on a consistent basis. Well, this is an opportunity the ladies had to share how they felt. Next slide. This is the group that was there. Now, this also has our students, our audit students that were there, the American team. Next slide. What is unique about this is that after the 3-day event, the final 2 days of the week, Thursday and Friday, is we do a practical application for the Filipinas. we go into a public elementary school and conduct a 2-day VBS. And this is in Mangaldan. Next slide. The reason I show this is because we don't require the Filipinas to go. We don't require them to be a part of that. It's a volunteer-based effort, and we took 4 van loads of Filipinas. Now, that's encouraging. Next slide. So you can see the group of Filipinas here teaching the students a song. Next slide. This is one of Casey's classes. You can see the Filipina volunteers sitting on the floor, maybe some in the top left, 1 or 2. Next slide. And again, another class. So 2-day VBS where they get to impact young people in the community. And who knows, create contacts, right? Next slide. I did work, as I showed you earlier, this is the time when I spent from about 9 to 3 or 4 o'clock every single day with these guys. They were first-year students at the end of their first year, with the exception of the gentleman in the front right. He had just got on board. He is now in his first full year, taught them Jesus and the gospel. So enjoyable time. But you can see, now I'm near the front door. You can see how small that classroom is. That building they're in was the building we inherited when we bought the property. But that facility that we're going to have built, the multi-purpose building, will be able to be sectioned off for the classroom usage. They'll be able to conserve utility usage. Listen, when you open that thing up and you've got about, like in the dining hall, I would say there's probably 7 or 8 AC units. Well, there's no way to section off the dining hall. So when you turn, if you're up front and you turn on one AC unit, it's attempting to go throughout the entirety of the facility, right? So you may have to turn on additional units and that sort of thing. Anyway, it's going to allow us to do a lot of things efficiently. Next slide. We do get to spend some time with the children. I haven't talked much about them. A reminder, we do have a children's home on campus, which, by the way, we have 18.5 acres. The girls' home is really the annex. The boys' home is with the main campus. Next slide. You can see Michelle there teaching the girls a new song. So we get to spend evenings with them a couple times a week at least. Next slide. We get the opportunity to serve, usually, I think it's Thursday or Friday, we get to do like a pizza and ice cream. And so we get to serve them. Next slide. You can see the group there. Now I want you to put your attention in the very bottom of that big old silver pan. That's fried chicken, y'all. Fried chicken. That is excellent fried chicken. And every bit of it was grown on campus. We raise chickens, and we raise catfish, and we grow rice and vegetables. So we're making an effort to be self-sufficient and to be efficient with the land usage that we have. Next slide. I think that speaks for itself. I don't know that I want to talk that away, but that's the dining hall at the Ladies' Day. 92 congregations. Why can't we get that in the States? There was a group of ladies that walked in at 6 o'clock in the morning. They had been traveling for 12 hours. All night long to arrive for the Ladies' Day. That's impressive. Record attendance. Next slide. We had to put overflow in the library and stream it live. Hence the need for a multi-purpose building. Now with the multi-purpose building that might seat 1,000 to 1,100 and the dining hall, listen, we're getting close to 2,000 capacity. Now you're saying, no, wait a second. What? I thought you're training young men to preach and to be missionaries. Folks, our ACU's impact is the entire church. We're trying to impact the entirety of the church. The more people we can get to campus that see our facilities and see how serious we are about training young men to preach the gospel and to be missionaries, the better chance we have of more students coming through and facilitating young men to go out and faithfully preach for these congregations that need preachers. You're a part of that. Please know that. Next slide. Next. Casey did the opening remarks. Next slide. I love this. You make connections with people, even the American team you never met. They're good friends now, all of them. It's a great time together. Next. And then the paparazzi hits. Look, they love to take pictures, and if you go, you're going to have to give about an hour after to pictures. They just love it. They love it. Next slide. And then we ended by worshiping with the campus church. Next slide. Oh, I'll go through this quick. I know I'm over time. July is graduation and evangelism. Okay? This is where we target a new community, a new municipality to plant a church. Next slide. We begin by worshiping. Next slide. That's the Basista Church. This is our team. We had a large team. 4 nationalities represented there: Indian, Filipino, Mexican, and American. Spread on 2 countries. The Filipino and the Indian live in Canada. Good team. Young and old. Young and old. Next slide. We start by celebrating with the men. Next slide. The gentleman you see there, Kevin, John, and Cheta, y'all may have seen in a recent Philippines and Beyond newsletter. He is graduating with his Master of Ministry. He is a part of our faculty. Within the next week, his wife had passed away. And there was an honor for her, Elma Jean. You may have seen that on the newsletter. Please remember Kevin John. Next slide. That's the full group there. 8 Associate of Theology graduates, 4 Bachelor, 1 Master of Ministry. Next slide. While we were there, we had the fire for the girls' home. I know y'all knew about that. We have started the renovations. The funds were raised very quickly for that. And we praise God for that. Next slide. No one was hurt or injured. This is the girls. They're all shifted to the overflow right now while renovations are going on. Next slide. These are the boys. So we get to spend some time with them. I know y'all haven't seen a picture of them yet in this presentation. Next slide. This is one of the young guys with the little boy in the blue shirt. I want to tell you about him just really quick. He's the newest addition to Christ Happy Child Haven. The authorities were notified by a neighbor. That young boy was abused. The neighbor consistently saw him being put outside in a cage. And that young boy has been rescued by the Lord, by the government, by Christ Happy Child Haven. He is now in a home where he receives love and he's taught the gospel. Who knows, maybe he'll become a gospel preacher. Next slide. How wonderful is that? This is the setup at Coppice, where we provide free medical care, free dental care. You see the dentist there on the other side is the gentleman that came from Canada, who's a Filipino. He did minor surgery on site. Next slide. This is Jolie Longus. He was my partner in the Bible studies. Next slide. Folks, listen, he was an associate degree graduate, just 2 years. He was fantastic in translating and teaching the gospel. Our guys are getting quality education at ACU. Listen, this is not nothing against preaching schools here locally, but this is just not a preaching certificate type of place. Okay, it's far different from that. Next slide. Go to the next one for me, please. There you go. Right there you see the left, the Bible study is going on. You see in the very middle, Peggy Coulter, an older woman conducting a Bible study, and you see a teenager on the right-hand side conducting a Bible study alongside the Filipinos. Young or old, you can go. We've got a place for you. Next slide. You see the young lady in the very middle. That's a part of the girls' home. They're being taught and exposed to evangelism. Important that we teach our kids. Next slide. We had 20 baptisms over the 2-day. Next slide. Next slide. This is our group. Next slide. We had a lot. It's their rainy season. You can see the conditions. Cost us about a 2.5-hour drive one way. We went there and back every single day. And a couple of days it took us 3.5 to 4 hours because of this. Just one way. Next slide. At the end of the day, before we make that long drive back, we worship. This is a teenage boy who was delivering a devotional message. He was fantastic too. We'll put you to use. Next slide. The final few days, we spent 2 days doing this because Friday a typhoon blew through. We had to stay at the campus, but we do follow-up. This is Claro, who is a second-year student now. We're studying with a lady who Jolie and I had studied with. Next slide. And praise God, she obeyed the gospel, and another lady with her. The gentleman on the right obeyed the gospel during the campaign. Next slide. And then we worship with the local church that Sunday. That's how we end. Final slide. This is the last one. I wanted to share this with you. Thank you for your patience. I wanted to share this with you. This is in Manila. This is in a mall, in a shop where they sell massage chairs. Okay? Now, this is cool. You see me on the right-hand side, right? The gentleman to my right that has the white shirt and the green jacket. He obeyed the gospel by watching Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Way. Okay? Now, the gentleman to his right, the shorter gentleman, is his supervisor. He studied with him. He obeyed the gospel. The gentleman on the far right is next to me, is an employee there. They studied with him. He obeyed the gospel. The lady in the very middle, sitting down next to the older gentleman, is an employee there. They studied with her. She obeyed the gospel. And so it's wonderful. Everybody there are Christians. When you go in and the register's sitting there, and right next to the register is an open Bible. And behind their big screen, something similar to that, right behind the cash register, they're scrolling church hymns. Just wonderful. So you never know what you're going to run across when you go halfway around the world, right? So, all right, that's the final slide. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much. Listen to me. Go with us. Somebody, please, go with us.
What's the cost?
Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that separately. No, listen, don't worry about it. I mean, yeah, of course you got to worry about it, right? It's got to be paid. But listen, we can figure that out. We need some folks to go with us. Thank you.